It's just another video game podcast.
Woo!
This is for the week of October 24th to October 28th. The last episode that we'll have up before... Actually, no, this will be going up on Halloween. So this is our Halloween episode.
Ooh, spooky.
Spooky, spooky. I am one of your hosts, Jeremy Harvey.
I am the other host. I'm Brian Hour.
How's it going, Brian?
All right.
What have you been doing this past week, gaming-wise? Or if there's anything else you feel necessary to talk about on this video game podcast.
Gaming-wise, so Pokemon Go is having their little Halloween event.
Yep.
Double candy, Ghastlies for everyone. It's been awesome.
I've only jumped in once. I got a Meowth, and
Yeah.
there
are Meowths everywhere.
Yeah, I'm training, or I've got a what do they call it when you select a single Pokemon?
Your buddy.
Your buddy.
You got your buddy with
I've
you.
got a Metapod buddy because I'm having so much trouble. I just want to evolve them and get them out of the way. That's how I'm doing it.
I mean, if you need the spot in your Pokedex, that's fine.
Yeah.
Butterfree ain't shit.
I just haven't seen them, in my area. Just haven't seen them.
It's true. They're not around very much. I'm using it to get my Snorlax up because I got a Snorlax out of a 10k egg the first week the game was out, and I have not found another Snorlax since. So
I found one other one aside from the first time, and I couldn't catch him. He ran away.
Yeah, and mine has a Zen Headbutt and Earthquake, so he's a boss. But I can't use him because he's too low. So I'm racking up that 4 times Buddy Candy. That's been great. I thought it was funny that the Cubones and Ghastlies are everywhere, which I guess also Meowths and Hypnos and Zubats.
I mean, in my area, I see Hypnos all the time, so that didn't even stand out to
too.
me. Same with Zubats. Fuck Zubats. I think everyone can agree with that.
Have you seen that meme someone made of the gangsters in the mask trying to shoot him in the Cabana Club?
No,
they just put Zubat's head on Jim Carrey's head, and it looks like Pokeballs are being thrown at him, and they can't catch him. Because that's exactly what it is.
Side to side sort of thing.
It is so fucking hard to catch a Zubat. So the Cubones and the Ghastlies being everywhere, I feel like I'm in Pokemon Tower in Red and Blue, because that has Cubones and Ghastlies everywhere. And I had like 30 candies between the two of them up until this point, so I'm loving it. At least it's got me to play it again every day, which I've been playing it every day for a couple months. I'll come in and check it out, every now and then.
Since the initial launch of it, and I was obsessed with it, like everybody was. My sort of, I don't know, lifestyle has changed how I use my phone. I listen to a lot more podcasts than I used to, so it's not even a thought to have it on because that's just going to drain so much battery.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Pokemon Go, let's look at it. And then I just stand around for a minute and nothing appears. And I'm like, okay. And then I won't touch it for a few more days.
Yeah, my house is a desert. And that doesn't mean like sand shrews pop up or things like that. Like there is nothing. Like I am lucky to get a fucking Rattata.
Yeah.
So sitting around the house, there's nothing really good to get. At work on my breaks, you can usually catch about 3, but then I'll just play Clash Royale. But yeah, it's been really nice the past couple days. Like there's just things popping up in the house, just sitting around. So Pokemon Go, you're kind of fun.
Are you interested in the Pokemon Go Plus, the wristband thing at all?
No, because like if I'm using Pokemon Go, I'm using it, and we've got a little battery charger. I'm not worried about just tapping a button. Plus, I want to know what I'm catching.
Sure, yeah.
Like I guess if I'm we have a cemetery around here that has just a crap load of Pokestops in it. I guess if I were riding my bike through there, it might be nice to have, but other than just the Nintendo completionist in me wanting to have like all the accessories, that's the only little voice in the background going, hey, it's $35.
Yeah.
Come on, you should totally get this thing. Nintendo made it. But yeah, no, I haven't really been too interested in that. But I don't know. This might get me to get out on my bike one last time before the shit turns south for the winter. So
right.
I played more Borderlands 2, but other than that, it's light again.
So I just got Borderlands 2 popped up for free on my Xbox.
What?
And I think it's a thing where it's only going to be like this weekend. Like
it's
a weekend free play thing.
Oh.
Honestly, I haven't seen it on Xbox before like that. Steam, I know they've done a lot of things like that, but I didn't know if it was something that I don't know if it's something like if you get it during this weekend, then you keep it, or if they're gonna like take the license away from you or something like that. If they can, I don't know how the Xbox.
You know what we should do?
Yeah, we should definitely play.
We should play some Borderlands.
Yeah, I haven't played Borderlands in a long time.
That would be awesome.
Enjoyed it.
I got it. When I got Xbox Live, I went and played a mission with some people that I don't know randomly put me in with them, and that was fun. But
it's a simple, dumb, fun game.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we should totally play. That'd be cool. It's not. Is it like a backwards compatibility thing? Like, did they add it to the list?
It's the Handsome Collection, is what it says it unlocked.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'd have to do a little bit more research on it because I don't know if the Xbox One version communicates with the 360 one.
Okay.
Because I don't think that it is the Xbox 360 one on backwards compatible.
Oh, that's probably true.
But it's all on the Xbox. It's all the same. Yeah. It's worth a shot.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get together.
If we're gonna try it, we'd have to try it this weekend,
right?
Because I may not have it after that. And it's not a game. I've got it on PC already, so it's not one of those games that I'm gonna spend money on getting it again for the console. No.
I think I have the. I might have the rare Sunday off again, so maybe we'll hook up at that point.
Well, if that's the case, if it doesn't work, you could always come down my way and play some VR.
That's true. I could do that. I need to do that.
You need to do that. I'm going to keep slipping that in whenever I can.
I can't leave the fiance home alone with the brand new puppy while she is cramming for school. That's when all our deadlines are due.
Sure. No, I totally understand.
But I could probably sneak away for a couple hours, I think. So podcasts.
Podcasting, isn't it fun? Is that really all you have for this? What you've been up to?
Pretty much. I'm trying to think if I played anything else. No.
No?
Yeah, no.
All right. For me, I've been playing some more VR stuff.
Yeah,
there were a couple other little things. I'll just get them out of the way real quick that I was messing around with. I tried playing, what was it called? Dreamfall Chapters. Are you familiar with Dreamfall?
Not at all.
It's the sequel to The Longest Journey, which was early 2000 point-and-click adventure game. One of the best. One of the best ones. I used to be really into the point-and-click adventure games when I was younger. Myst was one of my favorite things. I played all of the weird knockoff Myst games that were out there. Mm-hmm. Never played, what was it, Pissed? Did you ever hear of that one? There's a spoof one with John Goodman. It's literally images. They took like the you know how the original Myst were just images.
Yes.
They took just those images and then like basically like painted over them. It was barely interactive. It was like you click things and a little FMV thing would play on it. It was horrible.
So anyway, do you go into a planetarium and like
I never played it. I've only heard about it.
Flip the little, I don't know, date and time thing and see
they don't do anything like that. It's literally like you would see that room, you would click on something, and an FMV video, maybe John Goodman would be there as the king, just being like, "Welcome to Pissed," making really bad fart jokes.
And it's not like just clips of Roseanne or
no, it's him.
It's really him acting.
Really him.
Oh God,
yeah. It was like one of the selling points, but.
You know, to be fair, point-and-click adventure games, in their heyday, I did play a lot of them. But early 2000s sounds a little late. I mean, they're still making point-and-click adventure games now, but...
Well, no, this one, the original one, Longest Journey, was an early 2000s point-and-click adventure game. I played it when I was like 14. I think, does that math out? Yeah. I was either 14, 15. This was definitely an M-rated game. I hadn't played a game that was this vulgar before. There was like, and overall it wasn't really like that. It was a weird sci-fi sort of game, but there were like some characters. There was one character in particular. He was this guy that was like rather than being in a wheelchair, he was in like this floating sort of wheelchair thing, and every other word was fuck. And I was just being like, oh man. And I come from a very conservative house that back then it was just like I'd never heard this many expletives. Expletives. Yes. In a game before, so that was like, oh my god! But it was a really good game.
Was this on the communal family PC when no one was at home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
With headphones.
Yeah.
If someone was at home.
Then they did the sequel, Dreamfall, few years later. That came out on PC and the original Xbox.
Okay.
And played through that one. That one was more of a 3D adventure game rather than it being the standard. You would just be looking at a scene, point and click on things, telling them to go.
Yeah.
It was more you were controlling a character, walking around different environments. Really loved that one, but it had a huge cliffhanger, and it didn't sell well. So it was years until we got anything from it. Kickstarter comes along to bring Dreamfall back, and they hit it, and it came out. I bought it when it came out, and I never played it. And this was like 5 years ago. It's been sitting in my Steam library for that long, and on a whim, I was like, I just like reformatted my computer, so it was running slow on some things. I'm going to try some games. I got on my Steam library, and I was like, oh yeah, let me see how this runs. It's an older game. The animations are horrible. The visuals aren't very good. But it's alright. It's cool to be like back in that world because it's a really weird place that it's like it's split between two realms. One is the realm of science, one is the realm of magic. Originally there was a war between them, and the solution for that was to split the worlds into two.
They worked it out.
And there's like some cool things between that. I only did like the first chapter of it. Maybe we'll go back and play some more.
Okay.
But that's just some old game that I randomly picked up. I've been playing a lot more VR.
I bet.
A lot more PSVR. I finished Job Simulator.
Okay.
Did all of those things. You can find the streamed videos on our YouTube page as well as our Twitch page. YouTube, Just Another Video Game Podcast. Twitch, JVG Podcast.
Yeah.
Which actually, while I'm throwing this out there, a little plug, we're on Patreon now. If you're listening to this point, we're on Patreon. Patreon.com/JVG Podcast.
We can do all this at the end.
No, I just want to throw it in real quick. People stop listening at the end. If you go on to Patreon, if you don't know what Patreon is, you can go in and basically just do a $1 subscription, and it comes out each month, and it helps us improve this podcast that I can do more with it. I'll do another plug later. That's all I'm going to say for now. Now let's get back to the VR stuff.
Okay.
I'm excited about that.
I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay.
So finished that. Got all the trophies in Batman, which is pretty cool because you finish Batman and it's kind of bare bones on your first playthrough. There's little things you can. Yeah, there's little things you can mess with that don't really do anything. But then when you beat it, you unlock the Riddler trophies, which each sort of chapter, which there's like 12 chapters, but don't...
Like 12 rooms or vignettes.
It's
or whatever.
basically something... It's around that. It's
okay.
10 to 12. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I'm counting my head. We'll say 8 to 12. Somewhere around there. I keep lowering it. But yeah, in each of those, there's 3. But one chapter is literally going down an elevator.
Okay.
Like one chapter is putting gloves on.
It's like, here, get used to what you're doing.
Yeah, it's really stretching out that word. But in each chapter, there are Riddler trophies that are like these glowing cubes defined. There's also riddles that if you scan the environment, you can find as riddle, and it means, it'll say something, and you got to figure out what he's talking about. That's hidden somewhere.
It's very Arkham.
Yeah, very much like Arkham, and these ones are so much harder.
Yeah.
Mostly because in the Arkham games, you had it where you could just sort of like be standing around and then just constantly scan, move a little bit, scan, and hopefully you'll just grab it.
Bats will fly out.
Bats will fly out.
Yeah. I got you, bitch.
You can kind of do that with this one if you're really stuck, but it's so much harder to do because you really have to be pointing at that thing with your detective scanner. Then there's just little things to find here and there. And it's really cool that they added that in there. I still wish there were more. I still wish it was like a whole nother part to it. Like even if they just did part 2 where you get another set of chapters where you're solving a mystery. In the whole story, the way that it ends, it's like it makes sense. It all fits really well in the Arkham universe, but I just wish there were more.
Yeah.
Because that's still one of the best games that I've played on there.
Is it Kevin Conroy?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's good to hear him be like, these are my bat gloves.
Yeah, it's Kevin Conroy's Batman. It's Mark Hamill's Joker.
Okay, so Joker pops up.
It's got all the people that were in the main Arkham games, not Origin.
Okay.
Great game. Fucking love it. If you're getting PSVR, get that game. It's one of the best things on there. One of the best because I'll tell you about the best coming up here shortly.
But yeah, just like you were saying before, it just the level of polish that they put into it, whereas some things on PSVR, like everything doesn't click, like the tracking and stuff like that. Like it depends on who develops it and how well they put it together to how well some of that works sometimes.
Yeah, and when I did talk about that, honestly, it is me just theorizing with my extensive play that I've done on there. And I've been playing a lot of the games on there. It is one of those cases where some of them work perfectly, and then I have a couple of them that are just weird. I've been hearing things. Jeff Gertzman off Giant Bomb has been talking about how he's heard that if you keep your PS4 in rest mode, VR is screwed up. That the sensors don't pick up properly.
Okay.
I keep my thing. Before VR, I always kept my stuff in rest mode because it was great just being able to turn it on. In less than 10 seconds, I could be right into the game. Having to power everything on, it takes about 45 seconds to a minute. I know it doesn't sound I know. But it's one of those things where I've been doing the rest mode stuff since I could.
Gotta go make a
and I'm just
sandwich
used to it.
and beat off. And, you just,
I haven't been able to really tell that difference, but it could be an issue. They did an update recently, didn't address anything on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they're looking into it. There's no way that they're not.
Yeah.
Sony has so much money riding on PSVR that they've got to make sure it's the best it could possibly be. Another game I've been playing, Super Hypercube.
Okay.
Fucking love it. It's so good. It's like Tetris, but it's like the new Tetris that
you gotta, like look around to. I feel like it's that. What was that stupid game show? Like
Hole in the Wall.
Hole in the Wall.
It is very much
that's
Hole in the
okay.
Wall. Another thing with PSVR, you really don't want to do it within an hour after taking a shower because it fogs up the things.
Still.
Your body heat. I don't know. I take really hot showers. That could be it. I don't know.
I think everyone does.
Yeah, and every time I would do it.
If you don't, you should.
It's great. I fucking love hot showers. And every time I would get in it, it would just fog over. I'd be like, oh, damn it, pause the game, pop the lenses out just a little bit, get the little wipe things, wedge them in there, wipe them off. Okay, here we go. Give it like 10 seconds, fogged right back up again. I'm like, oh, god damn it. I was trying to play Super Hypercube, and I'm like looking off in the distance, trying to see the hole, and the things just fog up. And I'm like, I can't see anything right now.
It's like the worst part about swimming with goggles on.
Yeah, for sure. It's very much like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks when you're swimming, you don't have to worry about real precision stuff.
I don't know how you swim. I mean, but okay.
But yeah, Super Hypercube is great. I think we've talked about it before. It's like a first person. It's not quite first person. It's third person, but you're so close to the thing, it might as well be first person. You're manipulating the shape to fit through a hole that's coming towards you. It's got a really good simplistic techno soundtrack that fits well with everything that's going on. The visuals are very psychedelic. It looks a lot like a music visualizer, like a really good one that you'd have on your computer or something like that. It gets really hard really quick. After you do like your first set, it starts to speed up. Things get a little bit more complicated. Then the hole starts to rotate like a clock.
Nice.
Where it's like, it's like tick, tock, tick. I haven't gotten further than that. It could go even faster. Or it's one of those things that you have to wait till you get close enough and then time it just right. Kind of like at a mini golf course with a windmill, and you're just trying to time it just right with that. It's so good. It's really simple. That's really all there is to the game. There might be more. I just haven't unlocked it. I don't think it is. I think it is just that game mode. And then there's a focus on comparing your scores with other people, trying to get the high scores. It's just a really addictive game. It's really easy to jump right back in. There's power-ups that you can unlock. I've only used one. One is just like a bomb. When you do enough, you unlock the bomb power-up where you can just blow up a wall.
Okay.
If you're getting so close and you're just like, I can't get this one just right, or it's like the piece that you're working on.
It's like, fuck this
too
wall.
many things. Yeah, you're like, I can't figure it out, blow up the wall. The other one is hyper mode or something like that, which I think slows things down. I hadn't used it. I tried to use it at one point. I think I was too close that I couldn't use it, something like that.
And you say you've only used it once. Like, does it Do you have a limited amount?
You earn it. You earn it by completing each puzzle. Like when you make it through a hole, you get like sort of points that it builds up, and it's like a line that builds up around it, and then once it fills the whole thing up,
and
then you can use it.
And you reset every time you start again?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not one-time use throughout it, that it's like if you just keep with it, you unlock these little...
It's not like some kind of microtransaction.
No, they don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't played any game yet that did that. I heard that Eve does it. I think Eve Valkyrie has that one. I haven't played that one. Other game I played, which is my favorite VR game so far, Rez Infinite.
Only one portion of it was made for this, and yet it's still... I don't know how, like, I think I mentioned last time, it's funny how well this performs, the PSVR, how well it performs for something that is old tech.
A PS2 game.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, the PlayStation Eye, the Move controllers, like, this old tech that...
Well, the camera they use, it's not the PlayStation Eye. It's
okay.
It's the newer PS4 camera,
okay.
but it's still a 2 to 3 year old camera.
Yeah, and they're they've done a good job of shoehorning in things that weren't made for it and still making it work. And I guess that even applies to something like Rez, which seems to be perfect for this.
Yeah, it's really cool. If you've never played Rez, it's an on-rail shooter. It's kind of like Star Fox, based on rhythm, where you target certain enemies, and what you do is you set up who you're targeting, and you want to target as many as possible. Then you let go, and if you can let go on the beat, you'll do more damage. You'll get more points. It's not really, you don't have to worry about that though. You can literally just be targeting one enemy at a time and still get through the game if you're fast enough that way. With Rez Infinite, and this is a game, you get Rez Infinite without VR. Still an amazing game. I've only been playing it.
It's been re-released multiple times over the last 15 years.
I bought it on PS2, I bought it on Dreamcast, I bought it on 360, and now I bought it on PS4. So this is the fourth time I bought Rez. I'm not upset about that. Especially,
it's that good of a game too.
Plus, I'm a big Nintendo fan. We're kind of used to that.
Yeah,
rebuying the same games over and over.
I have Ocarina of Time on many different systems.
Right, but with Rez, it's visuals are fucking crazy. Real wireframe. I guess the story is like you're in the internet. I think that's what it's supposed to be. And you're hacking.
It's a late '90s game, so internet hacking was kind of like the wet dream of everyone.
And this looks like what internet hacking looked like in 90s movies.
Yeah.
It literally does. Like they're flying down a tube just like, oh, we've got these bugs that we need to eliminate to bypass the firewall. And it's like that. It is like a interactive visualization of those kind of things.
Yeah.
You get like sort of text DOS prompt that appears and sort of thing where it's like, something 100% going through phase thing, area 2 and all this. Doesn't mean anything. It's just visualization. Doing with the VR, there's a number of different ways that you can play. You can play with the DualShock. I haven't done that yet. What I've been doing is playing with the Move, where you can slightly move your hand and it moves the reticle around. But the best way that I found to do it is literally with your head tracking.
Okay, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, you can move the reticle around with your head. Sometimes it's good to have the Move because sometimes you need to like sort of recalibrate where it is. If it's off in the corner, your head can get in like a weird position because you're trying to straighten out, because that's just how VR is. The music, I love the music in Rez, real poppy techno beat. I've only played it by myself. I've made sure that my wife wasn't around because I know that I'm standing in my game room, dancing, bobbing my head around with the VR thing on, going crazy. It's so much fun.
Man,
it's
that's
such
adorable.
a good game. I've told her at some point when I get over it, she can do a little video on that.
Yeah.
She's not gonna be able to make a Vine of it though. So.
Well, that wouldn't be long enough.
Did you not hear Vine shut down?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Someone who's never used Vine. What happened? It's had so much promise.
It's just a useless thing at this point. Every other app can do exactly what that does. The thing is that you have these people that are literally millionaires off the stuff that they do on Vines because they get sponsorships. But what happens is they make a video on Vine and then people share it on everything else besides Vine because nobody's on Vine anymore.
Yeah.
It was actually funny that 60 Minutes just did sort of a piece on them like this last week about like Way to be with the time 60 minutes.
Just smiling through the teeth. They're like, we're going down.
They're like, here's this new app that people are making millions off. It's like, no, not anymore.
That's almost like what happened to Evolved, isn't it? Like they
which Evolve, I guess, is shutting down too.
Right, yeah.
I guess
they
I
just,
didn't even think about that. Yeah, that was something else that happened.
Didn't they just recently
Turtle Rock had rebranded Evolve as Evolve Phase 2, I think is what they were calling it.
Yeah.
They turned it into a free-to-play game. A lot of people jumped on when they first did that, but apparently it didn't last.
It wasn't enough, yeah.
And they said that the servers will stay on for a certain amount of time.
Turtle Rock, did that have anything to do with anyone involved with Left 4 Dead?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, that's what I thought.
Those were the people behind it.
Right, and that's why it showed a lot of promise, but it just... When you make a multiplayer-only game, people have to be there. It has to all work.
Well, I guess we'll jump into the news. I have some other... I'll talk about some more VR stuff next week, because I've got a few games that I only just dabbled in. Not enough to really say about it. For news, we'll get the Switch stuff out of the way, I guess.
Okay.
If you didn't hear, we did a specific Switch podcast. It's a little over an hour long. We talk about pretty much everything that we knew at that time. We went through every publisher and developer that say that they're on board with the Switch and kind of told what we knew about them. Of all the podcasts that I've listened to that have talked about them, no one's really gone through that, so I think it's an informative idea of what to look forward to, possibly, with the Switch.
I wish I'd prepared a little bit more on that front instead of just looking things up on my phone as we went, but...
We were winging it, because we were still just,
I felt
that was that day that we recorded, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It literally was the day it came out. Yeah, after that podcast, I felt dirty but fulfilled.
So officially, Nintendo has said that they are not going to be talking anymore about the Switch until next year.
We're not talking about whether it has a touchscreen. We're not talking about whether it's only using cartridges, they're not talking about it.
Yeah, there's all these...
We're still kind of talking about it.
We didn't get what I was hoping for when they did the reveal. I was hoping that we were going to get a lot of information for it. We didn't really get that. We know what the thing is going to look like. Hopefully, I mean,
we got a lot of rumors confirmed.
Yeah, we got a lot of rumors confirmed, but since then we are still wanting more information. We're wanting more about games. We're wanting specs, we're wanting prices, we're wanting an official date, and now we're back to just listening to rumors again.
Mm-hmm. And just an entirely new subreddit to look at.
Yeah, a few things that have been not necessarily confirmed, but talked about officially from Nintendo. Kimishima has hinted that there's going to be peripherals with it.
Okay.
Other than what we saw.
Well, it seems tailor-made for that.
I think it's good that they didn't bring it up then. I think if they just make it simple and saying this is what it is, and there's other things that go along with it, but we'll sell those to you later.
Yeah.
I don't even think we're going to see much from that at launch. I think we're going to have a real sort of bare bones system, maybe with a couple little peripherals. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be able to use all your Wii controllers with it.
Mm-hmm.
No way you're going to use the Wii U gamepad.
The USB, no. Well, I mean, technically yes, because it's got its own Wii U gamepad. So
I don't even like thinking about it that way.
It's a little disingenuous, but yeah.
You don't have the dual screen.
No, right. That's also troubling. If it has a touchscreen, that means you can only use the touchscreen when you are in portable mode.
My theory on it is that the touchscreen is going to be for navigating the menu when you have it on you. It's going to be, my guess is it's going to look something like a mobile phone menu. Mm-hmm. That you're going to have your icons, you're going to have your information on certain places, the battery life, things like that. You'll have your eShop store,
well, that's kind of how
like the App Store.
That's kind of how it looks now on the Wii U when you're not in the Mi Plaza area.
I think they're going to go a little bit more closer to what we know for Android and iOS. Yeah. Kind of little bubble icon sort of thing going there.
It'll be their own thing, but yeah.
I think that with that, there's going to be... There was the rumor... I don't want to talk too much about the rumors, but there is a rumor that one of the Joy-Con remotes has an IR sensor on it that you'd be able to point at the screen like you can with the Wii remotes.
Yeah. I had heard that.
Are you gonna need a sensor bar with that? I don't know if they've come up with some new tech for that to make it work better.
I hope they don't need a sensor bar.
I hope so too. It really just needs to be the system that dock, and that's it.
Yeah, we made it known that we don't care for that sensor bar anymore.
So there's talk about that. I also believe that with the touch screen, there's going to be the ability to overlay touch controls on the screen so that if you don't have the Joy-Con controllers on the sides of them, you can still control a lot of stuff, that you can do sort of a simple overlay. The Vita does something like that where you can just say, touching over here does this, touching here does this, and you can do that. It's really easy to do with your phones. It's not good.
No.
It's shit. But I still think that it's going to be on there. I think it's going to be an option.
I forgot my Joy-Cons.
Exactly. You just have the tablet with you. I said before, there's no way that that thing is not a touch screen. You're not just going to have this slate monitor that you can't do anything with.
Yeah.
There's just no way that that's going to be. But they haven't said anything else officially, nothing on the games. We are getting confirmations from publishers that they are going to be putting out games for them. Someone today said some super Japanese name for a game. I cannot remember what it was. I've never heard of the series before. It's like some real-time strategy game. At first, I thought it was like a Dynasty Warriors game, but it's not. So I don't know what that is. But we're going to be getting that kind of stuff for sure. Mm-hmm. We're going to be hearing from those publishers who can say, we're making a game for it.
That as long as Nintendo allows them to say these things now.
Yeah, and I think this was... Well, I don't even think they said... They said they're bringing their series to that. I don't think they said specifically which one. But that's what we're going to see over the next couple months until January 12th, which is when they have said that they are doing their big announcement.
And that's the hard date for that.
That is the hard date for that. It is literally going to be... It's not going to be a direct. This is an event.
Oh.
They're inviting actual people to this.
Okay.
It is going to be a big reveal. Then they said that in the next few days after that, there's going to be events for people in Japan to come to places to try them, like different kiosks.
Are they gonna do this?
Try them out.
Are they gonna do this in like L.A.?
They said that they will be doing things in the West before, but they haven't said any dates. The only place they said dates for is in Japan.
No, I mean, but where is the event? The
Japan.
Press event?
It's in Japan.
It is in Japan.
I can't tell you where. I just know it's in Japan.
Yeah.
Chances are it's going to be, with us here in the States, it's going to be really late at night. 9, 10 o'clock at night. And
Ooh, party.
What, you want to do a...
Yeah.
Well, it's let me look at the date on that. I think that's a Thursday. It's a Thursday.
Okay.
So late Thursday night. If you're up for that,
Hell
we
yeah.
can do a little reaction stream thing.
Damn straight.
Well, that'll give us plenty of time to
just
figure out how
watch
the hell
it and
to do
talk
that.
about it.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll just do our episode then. So maybe you have that to look forward to. We're not going to promise it right now, but we'll look into that.
But I'm, getting a nerd chub just thinking about it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to do it. Do we have anything else for the Switch?
Karen. Have you not heard about Karen?
No.
God, this is weird because of how bad his career turned out. But Dane Cook had a joke about how you always have that one friend that nobody likes, and her name's usually Karen, but Karen doesn't know that she's fucking Karen, and you want her to leave.
I'm not familiar with this bit.
We at the restaurant I worked at, we referred to the order printing the order receipt printer as Karen. So every time it would go off with more work for us to do, we'd be like, God damn it, Karen, haven't you had enough? So Karen is what the internet has named the weird Mario woman.
Oh, okay, sure. I didn't know. So we have one. I mean, we've got a number of memes that have popped up super quick,
right,
involving the Switch. We've got the little doggy, which someone's already on Etsy has already made like a plush of that dog. It looks super cute.
Nobody ran off with my my meme for Switch from the Matrix with her just looking up at Trinity, and I said, just like this. Just like this. Nobody ran off at that, but I thought it was clever.
Yeah, the Matrix is kind of old at this point.
Well, I'm old at this point.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So Karen's the woman that's like, "Hey, come over to our party," and then they're just like, "Oh, great, she's bringing her stupid Nintendo thing."
Yeah,
again.
it's like, God damn it, Karen, this is a party. We don't want to play Nintendo. We want to drink and talk.
I mean, you got the same thing with the basketball guys too.
Yeah,
they're just like, "Hey, if you guys are done playing basketball, you want to play some basketball over here?
This is some basketball over here." My favorite Karen thing though was someone has this wasn't my favorite, but someone has taken her a screenshot of the clown car from New Super Mario Brothers and a giant Bowser, and just put her holding the Wii U or that Wii U tablet. God damn it, the Nintendo Switch tablet in the clown car just flying around. But the one I liked the most was someone recut the video, so it starts with her at the window waving to her friends, and they're like, "Come on over," and then she just goes and puts her Switch in the TV and sits down and plays Mario.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Well, oh, sorry guys, I don't feel very good.
Oh, that looks like fun. I'm gonna sit down. Yeah. I don't know. Everyone's that she has her own subreddit now apparently, so everyone's all crazy about Karen.
Well, I was even talking to a guy I work with, asking him about, he's a gamer too, and I was just asking him what he knew about the Switch, and all he knew was just some meme about it. And he's like, "Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen some stuff for it. I saw this little cartoon." I was just like, "Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about." Anyway, this is what the Switch is.
Would you like some hard data, sir?
Yeah. I don't work for Nintendo, but let me tell you everything about Nintendo.
Well, my uncle does.
Yeah.
And he told me that there's going to be a touchscreen.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a case that maybe we'll have a little bit of information. I doubt that we're going to have a big leak until we do that. I'm not going to worry about commenting on a lot of the rumors. We can slip them in throughout it, but I don't feel like focusing on them too much right now.
It's all right.
Yeah. Microsoft had an event recently. It was yesterday.
Yeah, I meant to watch it, but Pokemon got in the way last night. So.
Sure. I just saw a couple things on my Twitter for it. Some new streaming things that you can do with Windows 10. A dial for their Surface tablet. I don't know.
A dial?
I don't know. I saw some pictures. I didn't care about any of it.
Turn it up to make them useful?
I don't know. I saw that and immediately thought, did they do like Etch-a-Sketch thing? Like, I don't know.
God damn it. Really?
It didn't look any gaming stuff, so I didn't look that far into it.
Do you have to turn the dial to make smart glass a good idea? Or?
Sure, yeah. I got to crank that up to 11. But something that they did announce video game related was some new partnerships with various VR manufacturers.
And that's like kind of video game related.
Yeah,
I mean, you can do anything with a VR headset, but yeah.
You can, but we're sort of at a new jumping off point for VR gaming.
Yeah, and I mean the people who are really pushing VR headset like technology are video games and porn, I assume, but mostly video game companies.
So I tried getting some VR porn going on my PSVR. Honestly, I didn't care. I heard that it was all shit. My wife wanted to see it. No, she was interested. She heard it and she was like, "Oh, I've got to see this." And I tried forever just to figure it out, and it's a pain in the ass. I had to sign up to some websites with a fake email, or like not necessarily a fake email, just a bullshit email, so I didn't get fucking spam shit from that. And I go and spend all this time downloading these weird looking videos, not even saying like necessarily what the video has in there is weird. The formatting that they have to do with it for it to be in VR is weird. You'd think it was two eyes left and right, but it's really two on top. It's two on top of each other, and they're like...
Well, of course it's two on top of each other. It's porn.
I mean, you can have 3, 4, 5, 6 on top of each other there. But then you have to set a VR mode in the PS4, and then it converts it properly.
I would think that watching porn on a PS4 isn't the best way to find porn. Maybe if you had like a Vive or an Oculus, you might be able to do this a little bit better.
Yeah, because that's a lot more open. And the issue with the PSVR is, well, specifically with PS4, is their media player is a pain in the ass to use. Mm-hmm. It only accepts certain formats. I even followed that stuff. I've downloaded a fucking converter to try to get these things on there, and I'm like, fuck it. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
They have some videos that you can watch on there, not porn. There was one. There were a couple girls in bikinis, so there you go. Like,
all right,
whatever. And one of the videos that I started was, it was like I was looking at this girl, and it was like in this mansion sort of thing, and she's like walking by, and then I look down, and it turns out I'm a woman in a bikini, and that was the weirdest fucking thing. And I'm like, holy shit, I have tits.
So this is like one step removed from the not one step removed, one step like closer from the Final Fantasy 15 demo where everyone was standing up in the car at the end and staring at down the chick's shirt.
Yeah.
Really, you can just stare down your own shirt. They just take out the middle.
Oh no! Well, in Arkham VR, you can unlock character models, and one of them that you can get is
titty mode.
Well, no, not titty mode.
You see Barbara's tits.
No, not Barbara.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that's the new that's the hotness right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And she's not even in the game, but you have her character model, of course.
Yes.
And she's standing there, and one of my friends was playing it, and she was just like, as soon as Harley Quinn popped up, she was just like, oh yeah, and then like just started getting real close to her tits, tried to look under her dress. It was fucking hilarious. But yeah, so watching this video, going back to this video, I'm in a first-person view as a woman, and
I love that we're discussing this. This is the part about VR we're discussing right now.
It's important.
It is kind of
because it's weird. It messes with your head
because
you're so used to looking down and seeing your body form,
or the bat suit,
or the bat suit you can get over because you don't even see the bat suit. You see the bat belt.
Okay,
you're like, it's a floating belt. It's the
so now you look down, you see a tool belt.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you need some plumbing.
Right.
Work done on your plumbing.
The home improvement VR game. Fucking love that.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
But in the video, and it's like, I start looking around a bit more. As soon as I look behind me, things start to fall apart.
Yeah. Because
of the 360-degree camera that they were using. Where her shoulders were, there was like holes in there into infinity. And then I try like backing out, and it was like a streaming video. And so when I tried to back out, it almost looked like a fucking tear in space and time opened in front of me. Like something weird happened with the whole 360-degree camera. Like this section of it didn't stream properly when I was closing out of it. Weird shit. But anyway, Microsoft.
It's the forefront of everything right there.
Microsoft is doing some VR stuff. This has me worried. Because they said that they're starting at $299 for them, but they're going to have multiple ones. Mm. This worries me for what could be VR for Xbox Scorpio when it comes out. Because with the Sony PSVR, you have the single unit. Everyone will go and buy PSVR and get the same thing. They will be able to try it out and know what they're getting. Rather than going out somewhere, trying something that's maybe the more expensive one, getting a cheaper one, having a bad time with it, not seeing a better video. I don't know what the differences are going to be. I assume it has to do with quality of the screen and the headsets. The things look fucking ugly. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of them.
Yeah.
They look pretty much like the generic cases or VR cases you get for your phone. If you just look up VR, I don't know, just VR on Amazon, you'd find a list of all these things, and those two match up with them perfectly.
Do you think this gives them a year to figure out, like, 'cause do they say when these are going to go retail?
They didn't say a time. They said that they're working with them right now, as far as I know. They may have said some more, but all I heard was that they said that they're working with various manufacturers for VR headsets that will be compatible with Windows 10.
Do you think this gives them a year to figure out what they might want to... Because I feel like you're right. If they're going to put something that will work with the Scorpio, they will have one headset that will work with the Scorpio, and it will be Xbox branded. It will have green shit on it.
They have to.
And maybe they can feel their way through the next 6 months and decide whether or not they want to do something different than Oculus, and then just lock in with Oculus if it doesn't work out.
I mean, it does seem similar to something like Oculus, the way that they did their stuff. Even though they only had one unit each time, they went through a lot of iterations that you could buy. They had no problem selling these out to people.
No problem at all.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the big reasons I think that they made so much money was that they were the one people that they were like, every year, this is the new headset that's better than every other headset.
Yeah.
And people would just keep buying them. The people that were into that stuff, they would have to keep buying it every year. Same reason why people buy a new iPhone every year. There's the people out there that just have to have the new stuff.
I think it's a little bit different than that because they were getting progressively better as opposed to smaller iterations.
Sure, I'm being a little too negative on them about that aspect of it.
I mean, they were night and day between updates.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. What do you think of this?
I think it's a weird move, but I don't think it's a weird move in terms of personal computers and just the fact that Microsoft is everything in that space. And when it comes to working with Windows 10, yeah, why not have people who are making PCs and PC parts, why not have them have their own headset? When it comes to something that's dedicated like Scorpio or the Xbox One, I think they will go with one headset. This will be the headset that works with it.
It's weird.
This is Microsoft. This is Microsoft as a whole. Microsoft is a huge company.
Yeah.
And, they will... it makes sense for them to open up that market space to whoever wants to make something. And if they want to make it as cheap as they possibly can, sure. Am I going to buy an Acer laptop? No. Am I going to buy a cheap Acer VR headset? No.
I just find it weird that it would be one thing if all of these companies said that they started making headsets, and maybe I'm looking too far into this. Maybe this is something that really isn't a big deal because a year ago at the Oculus event, they announced a partnership with Microsoft where they had the Xbox controller bundled in there.
Yeah.
And there was all this stuff about how it would work with Windows and all of that stuff going on. Maybe I'm reading too far into this announcement that it really wasn't a big deal, that they're just saying, we're opening the floodgates to anybody else that wants to make a VR headset. And, here's a couple of them that have wanted to work with us on it.
I think they're opening the floodgates for anyone dumb enough who wants to make a VR headset at this point.
Right.
Not saying that VR isn't awesome and amazing, but VR needs time to grow. And if you really want to throw a bunch of R&D money into something that maybe you should wait a year or two to let the dust settle, then yeah, go ahead and throw your money at it. And there's the avenue to do it, which Microsoft, I think, needs to have this set up through Windows 10 because it's fucking Windows. If any operator, Apple does not need to, OS X does not need to have a VR functionality. Windows needs to have a VR functionality. And they need to let anyone that wants to build VR headsets and make it compatible with Windows, they should be able to let people do that. That makes sense. Whether when it comes down to gaming or the quality of these things, that's a little bit more nebulous.
I will just say, in terms of gaming, which I can't see these headsets really taking off outside of that.
No.
Controllers are super important.
You mean touch controllers?
I mean just interactive controllers. Not just a gamepad, but something like what the Vive has, what the Oculus has coming up, what PSVR has now. Even though the PSVR Move controllers are shit, they add so much to it when you're playing a game on there that it's important for those to work with that if you're going to be doing some sort of interactive thing.
Because you can't use keyboard mouse.
Yeah, you can't use keyboard mouse. You could, but for gaming...
It needs its own... You either need a controller or you need a dedicated proprietary Move controller, touch controller.
Right. But yeah, for gaming, it's important to have a special controller with it. That just this headset alone, at $300, if you're not buying that for gaming or porn, what the hell are you buying that for? What are you dropping $300 as a base for on those?
Yeah.
Then there's the question of, what kind of sensors are they going to have with it? Every VR has a sensor. Every good VR has a sensor. I guess when Oculus was first out, it didn't have the sensor thing.
Didn't really need it.
It didn't do 3D tracking. It just figured out where your head was moving, sort of. Yeah, hopefully we get some cool stuff out of that. I really don't think we're going to get much. I think that in the end, when they bring VR to the Scorpio, we'll probably just be working with Oculus on that.
I hope
stand
so.
by that.
I hope so.
Oculus has a lot more promise.
I hope they don't bungle that partnership.
So, finishing off this episode, there was something with Bethesda. I'm a big Bethesda fan.
I am as well.
Brian is too. They have said that they will not be giving out review copies, advanced review copies to outlets for their games from here on out, which they started with on Doom. And everyone thought Doom was bad.
Everyone thought that, oh shit, that's Doom's gonna. Well,
everyone thought Doom was going to be bad. Sorry,
they had a reason to think that too. I mean, the last 15 years of Doom has been Doom 3 and a tortured development process for this new Doom. So they had reason to think, oh man, this looked like it was going to be great.
Yeah, and people were playing the online beta and were not impressed.
Oh, because the online beta, well, the online isn't that great anyway.
Yeah, even after it launched, nobody was really talking about the online. No one was really talking about the Snap Map. Is that what it's called, Snap Map?
Yeah, which I've heard that's actually the more fun functionality.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's a dedicated group out there. I just haven't heard anything from it.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear people talking about it, they talk about the single player.
Yeah.
From what I've heard. But yeah, Bethesda has said that they're not going to be giving out advanced copies. You will not be getting advanced copies. Well, there's something to this. Review outlets, websites that do reviews and everything, will not be getting advanced copies of it. But people that do YouTube and Twitch streaming already have advanced copies of them.
That's weird.
Yeah. Not all of them. They
heard
pick
that
and
part.
choose. They pick and choose.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they do, but I mean, they're paid and I mean, not paid, but it's an endorsement.
Yeah, it's one of those stupid parts of NDAs. In the past, I've had to adhere to certain things on NDAs. It was easy for me because I worked mostly with indie groups, but I can't imagine doing. I never did a AAA advanced review that I needed to worry about an NDA with. But things that I've heard with them are like, don't say things about this level here, and that could be where things fall apart. You know, that could be where the game just all sort of falls apart, that everything's cool up until then.
Or it could be something as simple as, story elements they don't want you ruining.
That's the excuse for it. I say excuse, that's a big reason. Sometimes, rarely, but sometimes it's an excuse. With these people doing their Let's Plays and impressions of the game beforehand, I can't even imagine what those NDAs look like. Where it's literally, they are playing the game for everyone to see, but they are not allowed to say certain things. I think what it is they are allowed to react to what they're playing, but they are not allowed to stop and say, this is what I think of what just happened.
Yeah.
Like, they're not allowed to actually critique it. They're just allowed to react to it. Because otherwise it's a review.
Yeah, it's true. Are news outlets getting free copies of this still?
Yes.
But it's like a key that unlocks at a certain time?
Well, a lot of those companies, from what I've heard on IGN, is they don't, when they're in these situations, they don't wait. As soon as they are able to get a game,
they just get it.
Even if it means getting something from another territory. Because one of the games that they had recently was Mafia 3, which
did not
reviews. It didn't review very well. The game is really buggy. I heard the story's great. Maybe I'll check it out sometime later. But in IGN, they were talking about how they didn't get an advanced copy. So what they did is they got an Australian copy digitally, which came up like a day before launch. So that was the closest thing. It just happened to release in Australian territories a day before the U.S. release. So they came out. They had one of their people on there play as much as they can so they can get a review in progress, early impressions.
Not to talk about Giant Bomb again, but they said the same thing about
talk about Giant Bomb. It's
different.
Great.
I love Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it was a different game, but yeah. Usually in these cases, if they're not getting advanced copies, the company still goes, "Do you still want us to send you, a code for this?" And they're like, "Well, no. If you're not giving us one, we're gonna go. We already have something else lined up. Like,
right.
We're not going through you if you're not giving us something that we can create a timely review for.
Which we had a similar thing with No Man's Sky when it came out. That they were saying, we're not going to send out, we don't want you to get copies right now because we got to wait for the day one patch. It's really important.
The
and
online.
It was.
Well, yeah,
it was it was very important to what that game is now. Or what that game was then is now. But it was one of those games where you literally could go out to a store when they were saying, don't, and that's the thing with NDAs is you only have to abide by them if they supply you these copies.
Right.
If you obtain that, there's no rules other than you risk them blacklisting you. But if they're not giving you stuff in advance and you're still having to, as an outlet, a media outlet like that, what's the point? You're dropping $60. I'm sure you can probably afford that.
If you can go to a hole in the wall in Chinatown and pick up Modern Warfare or whatever, Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, a day early, which I've heard stories.
Happening?
I've heard stories of that happening with like Modern Warfare 2 and stuff.
I'm pretty sure that happened with Infinite Warfare. I think that there's copies out there in the wild right now.
You're not beholden to anyone. I mean, if you can find it.
In cases like this, the publishers are only protecting themselves. They're not protecting the players. No. They're not protecting anything else. They're protecting themselves. Even though in Bethesda's press release for this, they encourage people that like to read reviews about games to wait until their favorite outlet puts out a review. It doesn't matter because most people aren't going to be reading that.
No one... Do you read reviews to find out if you're going to buy a game, or do you read reviews just to read the review?
I read the reviews to make sure that the game isn't busted.
Okay.
I am one of those people that does scroll down to the bottom sort of thing just to see what they give the score. I'm not the kind of person that puts any weight on that score other than saying, okay, good, this game isn't totally broken when it first came out. If it's iffy, I'll look into some forums just to see if anyone's talking about it, to say if this game is not working well. The only times I would really look too far into it is if I want to decide if I wanted the Xbox version or the PlayStation version,
or if you wanted to wait for the price to go down or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes I'll see, okay, people are saying that it's short. That's a big part of just seeing, okay, if I'm dropping 60 on this, how long is this game going to last me? Not necessarily how long is the game, but if it's a shorter game, is there reasons? Is it good enough for me to go back multiple times that I'm going to play this for a few weeks in between the next game that has my attention? But overall, and I'm thinking about doing some review stuff format with this channel, but I don't want to. I've done some reviews before. I don't want to do scores.
Yeah, scores aren't fun.
I'm thinking more like review discussions.
I didn't give any the reviews I did for you. I don't think I gave Gunpoint a score.
Yeah,
other than I just fucking loved Gunpoint.
Gunpoint is great.
Gunpoint is fun. If you have not played Gunpoint, go play Gunpoint. That game is awesome.
Little indie stealth game.
It's kind of a point and click adventure game, but,
kind of, yeah.
But I mean, it feels like that, but it's more of a like stealth infiltration game. It's really cool.
But yeah, I'm thinking of, because in our old, I never really talked about it. I used to run a website called Machine Red. After freelancing for a number of other game websites that all just kind of fell apart, I thought I could do it myself. Well, it lasted about a year. But we did some reviews. When I first started doing it, I didn't want to put a number on it. I was trying to do letter grades, but then I wanted to follow sort of the Japanese character action game of having like S rank and A rank. I was wanting to try to do something like that, but the people that I brought on, they got confused by it, so we were like, just put numbers on it. Like,
yeah.
And I hate numbers because so many people look at numbers in a way that they shouldn't be looked at.
I say you can do 5-star if you really want to put a number on it, or just don't at all. Just say, hey, here's the case for this game. If it sounds good to you, then buy it. If it doesn't sound good to you, don't buy it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing something like that. Maybe we'll.
I like that. I like that method a lot better. Yeah, I had a laptop get stolen right when I was about to start writing my first review for you.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I think I got 2 done, and I was working on a third, and I never finished that third one.
No, I remember you sending me an email months after the site shut down, where the other guy I was working with sold it off so that it was just full of ads.
Oh, I wrote an offhand commentary about how Leland Yee got taken down for corruption charges.
For
those of you who don't know, Leland Yee, he was a California state representative or state senator. He's the one who authored California's infamous video game bill that Schwarzenegger signed that went all the way to the Supreme Court. And he got taken down for basically working with the Chinese mafia in San Francisco and some crazy shit like that.
It's gun trafficking.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh man, it was pretty good. And I couldn't help it. I had to write something about just he was like a real life video game villain.
Yeah.
Crooked politician. It was pretty hilarious. So, and I was like, hey, do you still got that website up? I got something for you. And they're like, oh no. I'm like,
I got shut down.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I started up this whole thing, was I wanted to get back into it, but I don't think that kind of formatting for video game media outlet is viable anymore. There's no way for you to stand out. That's why I want to do the podcast stuff. I want to do more video-based things.
It's fun. It's a fun way to get your... this is not an obsession, but it's a fun way to get this, out into the world.
I mean, for me, it is kind of an obsession. I used to have, I just wanted to talk video games all the time, and it wasn't until I started writing things that I was I felt release, and sort of thing. But
that's what I went to college for. I went to college for journalism so that I could write for a video game magazine.
I went for creative writing, and I did 1 year, and was just I don't need to go to school for this. I can literally just jump on and start doing freelance stuff for websites. Apparently I couldn't, but I blame that more on my location.
It's really tough to do that, but I mean, there are freelancers out there that just keep at it, and they get brought on in some capacity on a lot of websites. But it's tough. You got to keep doing it. It's expensive. Some places will...
It takes a lot of sacrifice.
Games. Yeah, some places will give you games. Some places, they require you to buy your own. Video games, man.
Video games.
That's what it's all about, though. I do love them.
Well, I think this is a good place to wrap it up, though. I think we covered everything. Do you have anything else?
Uwe Boll is no longer making movies. And Godspeed to that weird little man.
Who is this?
Uwe Boll is the German-born Canadian residing filmmaker who made a lot of awful movies, but also made a lot of awful video game property movies.
Made a lot of movies that conveniently took advantage of a lot of tax loops in foreign countries.
I believe one of the most infamous was that if your movie does not in Germany, if you are a German citizen, if your movie does not make a profit, that you get a tax write-off for that you can make money on. Also, Canada is very gracious to people who want to film in places like Vancouver. So he pretty much figured out a way to make money off DVD sales and tax write-offs and stuff like that.
By barely putting a movie together.
Say what you will about his movies. That man loves making movies.
He does. He really did. I mean, it was amazing just how many movies he put out.
And it's sad to see someone not be able to do what they love. And they're all bad. But have you
every single one? I've seen like 3 of them.
Have you seen Postal?
I have seen Postal.
I love Postal.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. That is a good bad movie. It's
such a try-hard movie.
There are places in that movie where it's just a bad lull. Where okay, this isn't working. Like this section of the movie is not working. It is slow. It is stupid. But somehow, and say what you will, I love Dave Foley. I love Kids in the Hall. It's tough to see him doing that. But at the same time, you get to watch Dave Foley being a really bad movie, you do get to see his penis. And watch him do a scene that is basically one long extended fart joke. I will say about Postal that is an extremely well casted movie.
I was surprised with that.
No, I just mean that the people play their parts well.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant. Yeah,
there's nobody impressive in that movie at all, but the people who they play their role very well.
No, like
it's a bad movie, don't get me wrong, and it is an offensive movie, but I can't help it. I still kind of love it.
I gotta give it to Blood Rain because Meatloaf was in it.
Really?
Yes. He's in an orgy. He's in an orgy scene. Also, Billy Zane was in it.
Really? I love Billy Zane.
But he's only like...
But I love Billy Zane because he's Billy Zane.
He's only in like the movie for like 10 minutes or something like that. And he's literally like not even
He had him for a day.
It is something like that. Which actually, a friend of mine, Garrett, he was on the first episode. He worked with Billy Zane on the movie. And in the middle, or near the end of filming, Billy Zane said, I've got to go do a dinner somewhere else. Can we just like wrap it up here? And they were like, we still have some other stuff to film. And then he was like, we'll edit that out, and his character just gets killed off because he didn't want to be in the movie. And it's fucking hilarious.
I'm hungry, guys. I gotta go.
Yeah, but my favorite one would be House of the Dead.
Okay,
it's not because it's good.
It's a bad movie.
It's a horrible movie, and it is. I loved House of the Dead, so it was just like it was one of those movies going in that I'm like, it's gotta be okay at least, right? And this was when I was in high school when it came out, and there's tits in it like near the beginning, so that's one of those.
Well, yeah,
that sold it pretty well.
I think there are tits in all of his movies.
Yeah, he always finds some place to put tits in there.
Well, you gotta put tits in your movies when you're that bad.
But at some point in there during a firefight, the main heroes, the guns that they're holding turn into the light guns that you have in House of the Dead.
That's right.
They don't ever draw attention to it, but suddenly their guns turn into yellow plastic guns.
Oh my god.
And it's only for like one scene, and they intercut scenes from the game in there with no explanation. Where they're just like shooting some zombies or shooting off some stuff, and then it's just like reload.
Scenes from that's right. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna put scenes from a game, don't put scenes from House of the Dead in there. I mean, okay, the story's got to be better than whatever the House of the Dead story is, right? I don't even. That's such a forgettable thing.
From what I remember, it followed the story pretty closely. It was mostly just about a guy that
can't write his own.
Yeah, it was mostly just about a guy that was trying to find to create a potion to make himself live forever or something like that.
Okay.
And
then he just puts in long establishing travel shots because that's what his movies are known for. Just people going long distances for about 3 or 4 minutes just to eat up running time.
Who's Ron Howard's ugly brother? What's his name?
I don't know.
He's in
Ron
it.
Howard's ugly brother.
Yeah, Ron Howard's ugly brother is in it, and he's fucking great. Because the whole time he's just like he basically plays like practically a hunchback character because
that's what he's really good at.
I fucking love that guy. Whatever Howard he is.
Anytime he shows up, he's usually, at least I know why I'm here and I'm going to do my best.
But his whole thing is like telling these like 20-year-olds that they're going to a rave on an island, a rave that takes place during the day, those day raves.
Yeah.
A rave sponsored by Sega.
Oh yeah.
There's Sega branding all over the damn thing.
And that's like the first 10 minutes is a Sega rave or something like that.
Is a Sega rave, yeah, with just 20-year-olds half naked dancing with each other.
Late 90s electronica.
Yeah. And he's telling them, you don't want to go. Yeah, you don't want to go to that island, Isle de Muerte. It was literally called that. So it's oh yeah, we're gonna have this party on the cursed island of the dead. What could possibly go wrong?
The only thing that would have made it worse if it was that's Isla Nublar. I'm not gonna explain that joke. I don't care to.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I'm going to pretend that I do. And, that was my favorite movie from him, and I don't care that
I
he's
don't
not doing
either.
it anymore.
go away. It's okay.
Hopefully we don't have to hear about him threatening to fight other reviewers or whatever.
To box them. That's he's like a video game villain, isn't he?
He really is.
He's like he's a mid boss. I won't even give him that much. He's just a really easy mid boss.
Yeah.
He's the mid boss, and then Jack Thompson is the boss of like the video game of the last decade. If you had to make the last decade a video game, they're both bosses somewhere in there.
Right. And we're not telling our listeners that you have to go and find them and defeat them.
No, they've defeated themselves.
Yeah. All right, I think that'll wrap up this episode.
Yeah.
Time for some... This is where we should do the plugs.
Yes. Plugs indeed.
You can do yours first.
So, yeah, I actually have a video up now on Luigi's Apartment on YouTube. Jeremy and I played through Bugs Bunny's Rabbit Rampage. It's pretty bad, but I had that game as a kid, and I played a lot of it, and I wanted to subject someone to it, to get some use out of it.
I got further in that than I thought I would.
Yeah. You get stuck on the level that everyone gets stuck on. I mean, we both did. It's just a pain in the ass, that
fucking
game.
Bowl.
That fucking bowl. But this week, by the time you hear this, our video of us playing Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey should be up. Figured we'd play a fun game. And if you want to stick around, I might have you play another game here for like a little bit.
Sure.
So we can have something up next week in time for the Nintendo Mini. Because that's coming up pretty soon.
Are you getting that?
I probably will. I mean, I own most of the games that are on it, but
yeah,
I probably will.
I want the Famicom Mini. I think I'm gonna try to order that.
It's tiny.
It is tiny, but that's fine.
Okay. It has some games that we don't have here.
I just want the Japanese versions of them. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any games on there that I really need to worry about being able to read it.
But it's got it probably has the Famicom Disk System versions of those games.
Yeah.
Which means the music will be way better.
I know that the Zelda has the Famicom Disk version.
Famicom Disk System music is so much better than NES music. And you get a couple extra channels, makes all the difference.
Yep, those extra channels.
But yeah, Luigi's Apartment. I should probably update the Twitter when I put videos up.
As for JAVG, Just Another Video Game Podcast, if you're listening to this on iTunes, you can find us on YouTube at Just Another Video Game Podcast. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you can find us on iTunes at Just Another Video Game Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter, where you can also send us comments or questions that you might have at JAVG Podcast, which is the same as our Twitch channel, JAVG Podcast, where I am streaming a bunch of VR stuff. I just got a key for Sports Bar VR, and I think that'll be the next one that I do. I streamed...
Do you get to run a sports bar?
No, you play...
Damn it!
It's like a minigame collection where you play a number of games that you might find in a sports bar.
Like the stupid
darts and
touchscreen game?
No, I don't think they're going to be like that. I haven't got a chance to really look at it.
You get to play naked concentration or whatever.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think it's... I think it's like darts, pool. There's a skee ball. I've never been at a bar that had a skee ball machine.
Bloomington.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, IU campus.
There
They've
you
got the... I want to say a shout out to that bar that's pretty cool, but I don't remember the name of that bar that's pretty cool.
So check out that bar that's pretty cool in Bloomington.
The one with the skee ball.
The one with the skee ball. But yeah, I've been streaming VR games. I've got the full playthrough of Batman Arkham VR. I also have 4 parts for all of the levels for Job Simulator. I don't know why I always forget that name. And I'll just be doing that. We are also on Patreon now, where you can donate money to us. It's a monthly thing that you can donate as little as $1 or as much as $1 million.
That's right.
Don't donate $1 million. There's better uses for that $1 million.
I would not have said that, but hey, whatever.
I always seem to say the wrong things on these plugs.
Just hey, if you like what we do, give us a little bit of money, and that way we can continue to make your week better 1 hour at a time.
Yeah, any funds that we get from that will go directly into making this podcast better, whether it be buying better equipment or server space. Once we can get that going, I've got some ideas for some other sort of shows that I'd want to do. Maybe following, for me, wanting to play, I've had an idea of replaying older games that I played when I was younger that I had a fond memory of that maybe aren't as good anymore.
Oh, see, that's a fun experiment.
Yeah, I've got some other ideas too. But yeah, if you go check that out, and you can always just follow us on there too. You don't necessarily have to give money right away, so you can follow us to see if you like what else we have to add to that. That's it.
Send us $1 million.
Send us $1 million. I changed my mind. Give us that $1 million. See you next time, guys.
Play Ogre Battle for like just the rest of my life on Twitch. Oh, it'd be so great.